Hi, welcome to Always in Stitches. I feel like I'm sitting at the news desk today, so if we if we need to cut to the weather, Peter, you can be the weatherman. How's that?
It's sunny and 46 degrees in Noblesville, Indiana.
You got the perfect news weather voice. That's perfect. And it actually is. So it's January 16th, 17th, I don't know, it's the middle of January, and it feels like spring. When we were walking into the parking lot to come into work today, Peter and I happened to get here at the same time, and he even said, he goes, it feels like spring. And I thought exactly the same thing when I got in the car. It was like, okay, fake, because it's mid-January, and in Indiana, we've got another couple months, typically, of potential snow, snot, slick, nasty, cold. And this is the time of year that people think they can get out, and then they do, and then they get sick, and blah-de-blah. So wherever you are, I hope it's warm and sunny, because that's my vibe. I have decided I have reached an age that I should live in a place that the temperature never goes below the age I am. So I'm 60 years old, and I feel like it should never be less than 60 degrees. That's just where I'm at. So y'all, if you agree with me, comment. And if you're in that temperature, maybe don't comment. No, that's fine. So, okay, so here's what we're going to talk about. What's new this week? We actually got to do it on Tuesday this time, which is kind of exciting because we're back in our routine. Peter, wasn't the holidays rough? I mean,
it was all over the place.
It was. My son was in from Tokyo, and Lenine was going out of town, and Peter took some time off, and you know, then we had this nasty weather thing come through, and so everything was shut down for a day or two, and it just, we kind of got out of the rhythm, you know, of work and how to do it. So we're back on track, and you know, hopefully we'll be a little more consistent now with our videos, because y'all missed us. I was walking through the store, and somebody said, you didn't do a video this week, and I was like, I know, we got a little busy, so my apologies, but thanks for holding us accountable, because that's what a good customer does, is hold the business accountable. So the last video, I talked about a couple things. I'm going to bring them up again, not to be, you know, like badgering you about something, but I don't want you to miss this, because one of the things I talked about in several videos, we had a customer come in and say, you know, I want to do this, and I was like, it's closed, and she's like, well, I didn't know, and I said, well, I told you. So here we are. Listen, pay attention. Glimmer and Gleam, this is a program being offered by the Moda Company. It's Sarah Maxwell. Her company is Sarah Jaye, Patterns by Sarah Jaye. We've happened to become really good friends with her in the last 6 months or so. And she is a delightful lady. It's a beautiful pattern. It's a lovely kit. It's reasonably priced. It's going to have video support. If you want to sign up, go to our classes page, scroll down to clubs, and get into this program. It's going to be awesome. The fabric uses the grunge fabric from Moda. The quilt is 84 by 96, so it's a big quilt. And I think there's going to be some great techniques. Sarah is a delightful lady. If you want to sign up, don't let it get away. It starts January 24th, which is, you know, a week or two away, really, basically.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 10 days maybe. Quick. Yeah, so don't wait. You can get it with a white background or a black background, so don't let it escape. The other thing that I want to talk to you about, and I showed you the fabric, now I'm just showing you the picture. This is called Color Collage. This is a Nancy Rink pattern. I'm actually going to be teaching this in the store. So if you have done Block of the Month before and said, gosh, I really want to talk to a live person about it, I am offering an in-store class, and there are still, I think, a couple openings in this particular project. And gosh, I started making the blocks, and they are gorgeous. So
you started with a blocks?
Yep, I've already started making it, because I have the kit to make the sample in advance. I know, and I got the fabric out and I started cutting it, and the instructions are wonderful. She's very cautious about not wasting fabric, which, you know, makes us fabric people happy. So anyway, that one is still available, but the window is closing, and when it does that, you're not going to get it, and then you're going to be sad, and I'm going to feel sad, and Peter's going to be sad, and it's not pretty. So please don't miss it. Don't come in and say, I want to do this, and I have to say, I'm sorry. That won't happen. That's the sad news. So.
Okay, so tell me, what was it like to cut out the first, like to cut the fabric? It
was a little nerve-wracking, because, you know, Block of the Month, you only get X amount of fabric. Now, part of the reason I think I could cut into it was, here's the secret. Sitting back on our inventory table is the fabric for this. It just came in yesterday. Now, unfortunately, our fabric inventory lady and the lady who does all our inventory is homesick right now. So that means it's going to take a little bit to process, or I'm going to have to process it, which, ooh, when I do stuff in the computer and process, it's a little scary. The gal that does our website's like, please don't let Cappy and Lenine put stuff in the computer because we're just not as good at it as Nancy. So, but I may have to because we've got to get this out. People are waiting for it. So, anyway, yeah, I cut it open because I knew I had backup fabric. That was the only reason I cut. Isn't that kind of sad? Because I know myself.
So, do you have a block pieced, or?
I do. I have one block pieced.
How does it look?
It's beautiful. The colors in this are stunning, and the fabric's nice quality. You know, that's always my other issue. All different companies make all different fabrics. All different fabrics have different weights and textures. Some are shreddy, some are, you know, easy to work with. I'm liking this fabric so far. It cut nice. It wasn't real shreddy. It wasn't. It starched nice because I've kind of become one of those starch people now. I like it starched, and it firmed up really good. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a really pretty block, and I think there's a lot of great techniques I can teach people in it. So sign up for the class, and we'll get you in the class in the store, and it'll be fun. Look forward to having you. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about is this is not a class you can sign up for, but we're doing a video class on it. So it's one of these things where it's called Cappy's a Bag, and it's it's going to be a 12 video series. How's that? Ooh, we have a series. Mm-hmm. It's like it's like a series on television. And we don't have to wait for like 6 months for it to finish. It's all going to go.
There's no cliffhangers.
There's no cliffhangers month to month. Well, there is every month because now you don't know what we're going to do next month. But we do offer this as an in-store class, but that's sold out, so you can't get into the in-store class. But what you can do is watch the video support that I'm offering to go with the in-store class. So we uploaded a video yesterday, and it's a little rough. You could tell it's been a hectic week. So the good part is this particular pattern comes with video support by the pattern writer, and this Jenny Baker does a outstanding video. I am most impressed with her, and really appreciate how she wrote the pattern and how she created her video to go with it. So if you want to watch our video, and all I do is just kind of support what she says, you still have to buy the pattern. That's hands down, you're going to have to buy the pattern. We do sell it on our website. But
are they grouped together if somebody wants to make sure that they don't forget to buy a pattern? They can go ahead and get all 12, that, you know, to make it easy for them?
They
that
don't
type of
know what they
situation?
are. So I'm
Oh, they don't?
See?
Okay.
Now,
I see.
just showed Peter the pattern for the next month. So if he tells you I would have to kill him, I wouldn't do that because I sort of like. But anyway, each month they don't know what the next pattern is.
I gotcha.
So, but I'm building on their skills. So this particular month they were learning how to make gussets, which gussets kind of freak people out. But that's where you square off the bottom of a bag, so it has a nice square.
And I will just say, since I filmed it, I can tell people I was very impressed with learning what parts of the ruler to use to make a gusset in the video that's on YouTube that you can go watch.
Right. Yeah, because there's tricks to it. I mean, anything you do, there's kind of like ways to do it that make it easier and more fun, and you know, we want it simple. Let me see. I've got this one has stuff in it. This one might do better. But I made every bag that's offered in this pattern in different weights of fabric. And so in my video I talk about that, and her pattern is just the bomb. And if you want to do a video class, if you can't come in the store, you can make all these fun little bags. Look at this one, it's got clocks on it. Is this hysterical?
I love the clocks.
Here's the other part. Don't call and say I want this fabric. My goal for this 12-month class is everything I make, I'm using my stash, because I have enough.
Brilliant.
I know. Well, I have enough stash for like 835 years. So I made all these bags, and my intent is that everybody for Christmas this year is going to get multiple bags, or their presents are going to go in bags instead of, you know, putting them in wrapping paper. Because why should I buy wrapping paper when I've got, you know, a lot of fabric? I won't say how much money's worth, but a lot of fabric sitting around. Why don't I use fabric to wrap gifts and give people, you know, bags and things? So anyway, this is the biggest bag that you can make in the pattern, but she also gives you a pattern to make others. So if you missed out signing up for the class, but you still want to participate, watch the video, because we're going to do that every month and have a video. So that's...
And there was something you mentioned that she gives you information to make others.
Yes.
I was impressed on what exactly that entailed.
Yeah. So
what does that mean?
So in her, I can do this way. Right here in her pattern, it says custom bag, and she gives you the instructions. Of course, she gives you the instructions to make all those I just showed you, all the different dimensions. But she also gives you the formula if it's like, okay, I want to figure out, I want to make a bag, but I need it to be this big, and that big. And she's like, well, here you go. And it's literally fill in the blank, and then she tells you how to make the fabric.
Nice. I love it.
I need to meet this woman because I'm so impressed with her pattern writing. I love it. She did a great job.
So if I needed a bag a certain size to put all my dog's toys in, all their stuffies, and I decided how big I needed to be, I just write those measurements down, and then it'll tell me how to make it.
Zippity dippity boop. There it is. Yeah, I'm love this pattern, and I'm kind of a bag about bag patterns. You see what I did there? It was so dumb. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a bag about bag patterns. If it's not a well-written pattern, I'm going to get cranky about it. This one is awesome. Good job, Jenny. Jenny Baker. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about something else. I'm offering another class called TNT, which is thread needle tension. If your head's like, you know, the Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, all those cartoons that they won't let you watch now because they're so violent. Whatever. Okay, let's not even get that discussion. But anyway, that's what I grew up on, was all those, you know, extremely violent cartoons. And TNT, they always had the TNT, Acme TNT, and it would explode. So TNT is an acronym for thread needle tension. And I'm teaching a class. Again, go to our classes and scroll down. There's a few openings. In-store class. We also have a video on this that's kind of an older video that you can watch. But if you want to come into the class, I'm going to teach a class, and what's cool about the class is you bring your sewing machine to the store, and we sit down in a class with a group of everybody, and we do that terrible, awful, horrendous, frightening, earth-shattering thing that we're told never to do. We turn the tension dial. Dun, dun, dun. I need like scary music with that. Dun, dun, dun. There is a tension dial on every single sewing machine. I was looking at the one over here, and it's actually it's electronic, so you have to push it electronically. But there's a tension dial on every single sewing machine, and they wouldn't put it on there if you weren't supposed to use it, right? So the class is an opportunity to come in, and we just crank that dial all the way one way, and we crank it all the way another way, and we see how we mess up tension, and then we see how we get it right. And I teach you all about tension and thread and needles. So because you're watching this video today, you're going to get a little lesson in thread. So, and a little bit about needles. So, you know, and it was funny when we were talking about this, Peter even said, he goes, I've just always, when you first started, didn't know. And a lot of us don't know. I come from a...
Oh, I need to add, and I only used one type of thread.
Right.
And that was all I ever used. Right. I never imagined putting another type of thread in my machine. I just thought bad things would happen.
Yeah, you think bad things happen. So here's what happens, especially for those people.
It's funny to admit it now, knowing like all the crazy stuff I've tried on quilts.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And here's the other thing. Don't use grandma's thread that she handed down from, you know, when she had a treadle machine. It's still on wooden spools. If you're using fabric, if you're using thread that's on the original wooden spool from 1902, it is not thread anymore. That's not a good idea. So thread has a shelf life because everything has a shelf life, and thread does too. And so you need to be aware of that. So I always tell people, buy the best quality thread you can afford. Because when you think of it, and it's this statement that sounds so silly, but it's true. Thread holds your project together. It is the project continuity part that if you don't have good thread in a project and it starts disintegrating, your whole project falls apart. Now, you may not see that in your lifetime, but if you pass down a quilt or a garment or a teddy bear or a bag or whatever, and somebody uses it and it starts falling apart, you've lost all your investment in that. That's sad. So buy the best quality thread you can afford. Lots of brands out there in the market. Talk to your local quilt store. We are an Aurifil dealer. We like Aurifil thread. I like the price point on it. I like the quality of it. They stand behind their product. And I have lots of ways to get it in different sizes. So, And they color code their stuff, and they also label it. So there's lots of reasons why I like Aurifil thread. But I use different Aurifil thread for different projects. Why would I do that? Well, because you don't always need the same kind of thread for what you're doing. So when you see an orange spool, these are all orange spools, it means it has the same kind of thread on it. It's a 50 weight 2-ply thread. And there's a lot, I'm a little thread obsessed. I need to go Threadaholics Anonymous, I think, because there's a lot to know about thread. But just for this little episode that we're doing here, 50 weight 2-ply is pretty much the basic quilting thread that you're going to use for everything. The only difference between these spools is how much thread is on the spool. And what it amounts to is it's cheaper, obviously, to buy the El Jumbo super duper size than it is to buy the bitty itty size. Now, if I'm just doing something small, I may not want the ginormous, absolutely huge spool O thread. I may only need this bitty itty one. So, I get it. You want to buy the amount of thread you need for the project you're doing. But if I'm doing a lot of quilting, this beige color, oh my gosh, I'm going to use this for a long time. And as many quilts as I make, this kind of thread makes sense for me. These are also made for long arm. This is made if you have a long arm machine, because you're going to really run through thread on this, okay? So know your thread. Know what kind of thread you use. This is a 50 weight. 50 weight's a good basic cotton thread. This one on the green spool is 40 weight. Now, why would I use a 40 weight? And I think it's a 2-ply. It's 2-ply. So I can have a 40 weight 2-ply. I can have a 50 weight 3-ply, and there's a huge difference between those threads. And you just have to take the class or watch the other video to get more details. But 40 weight thread, and this is the wackadoo part, the smaller the number, the bigger the thread. I don't know who made that up. They obviously didn't understand how numbers work. But the smaller the number, the bigger the thread. So this is a 40 weight thread. This is typically what I use when I make bags. This is what I use when I'm working with a heavier weight fabric, or a denim weight fabric, or canvas weight fabric. I'm gonna pull out my 40 weight thread. Or if I want something that I know is going to get a lot of stress and strain on it, I'm pulling out my 40 weight. This one, this white spool, is a bobbin weight thread. And what that means is, and it doesn't say exactly the weight of it, but bobbin weight thread is usually 80 to 100. So it's a fine thread. It's very small. And the reason it's a bobbin weight is because typically it's used in an embroidery machine, or it's for lingerie. Sometimes you'll hear it called a lingerie thread. And it's thin. And you don't want a heavyweight thread pulling against lingerie or fine weight fabric. So I'm going to use that if I'm using a fine weight fabric. And then this thread, which, see if it gives me, it's called it says quilting thread. And this is a different brand. This is Gutermann. Gutermann's not bad thread, but what I don't like is they don't tell me the weight of this thread. I want to know that number, because it helps me discern if I'm using the right thread for the right project. So anyway, this is called a quilting thread. I'm going to guess it's probably at least maybe a 30 weight thread. I mean, it just by the way it looks, I'm going to say it's around a 30 weight thread. But a lot of times it's heavily waxed. This happens to be cotton quilting thread, but they also make poly quilting thread. And for people who do hand quilting, you need a little more strength. You need a little more a stronger thread than what you can typically get in one of these 50 or even a 40 weight thread. So this is usually got extra coating on it. Sometimes it's been kind of got a wax coating, or it's spun a little tighter so that it doesn't pull apart as much as these do. Because you're pulling it, when you're quilting, you pull it through again and again and again and again. When you're sewing, it goes through once and it's done. So the thread has to be more durable because it goes through the fabric more times. So that's why quilting thread's made that way. And then we get into this is upholstery weight thread. This is made for outdoor use, and it's very, very strong. It's UV strong, UV proof, UV resistant, rock proof, blah de blah. This is the stuff you're going to use in exterior projects. So I'm not going to put this in my quilt. Hello, this is not, don't put this in your quilt, but I'm going to, if I'm making tablecloths and table runners to put outside on my patio, I'm going to use this. If I'm using it in furniture, I'm going to use this fabric, that thread. So not all threads are created equal. And it's amazing to me people who didn't know that. This is serger thread. It's usually, this is spun polyester. Serger thread is almost always polyester. It's usually made in such a way that it's fuzzy and kind of fluffy. It's not what's recommended to be used in your sewing machines. You can use absolutely any thread in your sewing machine you want. You just have to know how to set up your machine. But you can use any thread, but I wouldn't be using this to sew quilts or to sew handbags. I'm going to use it in my serger to finish seams and to sew things like garments, and maybe to use for upholstery things, such as curtains and things like that. But it's not designed to be used in your sewing machine. It's fairly inexpensive because you use so much thread when you use a serger. So that's what serger thread is. So when you see these cones, these are made for sergers. This cone is made for long arms. And they kind of look the same, but they're not exactly. So there's that. And then you have fun things that are decorative. This is a really, it's got a metallic in it. It's called Sizzle. It's made by the Wonderful Company. And can you see the end of that? Yeah. It's got like sparkle and glow and fun stuff in it. These are great for top stitching or doing specialty things for the holidays, putting it on stockings or embroidery. Sometimes when you have embroidery machines, you're going to run this. When you use metallic threads, hear the word metallic, and then you have to recall that if it's metallic, that means when it goes through my needle, it's like having a file going through my needle. It's going to get hot. It's metal. It's metal against metal. So you have to be careful how that works. And then this one is invisible thread.
I can't see it.
Where is it? No. And this works, sometimes there's a stitch you can do that looks like hand stitching on your sewing machine, and you use invisible thread for that. What? Yeah, and then there's things you want to sew down that you don't want to be able to see where you sewed it in. So that's what invisible thread. There's also, and I didn't see if we have any.
Yes.
Water soluble thread.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say glow in the dark.
There is glow in the dark thread. There's water soluble, which is glow in the dark is just fun to do quilting with. There's a water soluble thread. Don't make a bathing suit out of water soluble thread. I'm just telling you, not a good idea. Bad choice to use the water-soluble thread on a bathing suit.
Would you have a garment malfunction?
You would have a garment malfunction. But it's good for things that you maybe want to temporarily sew in place and then wash, because then the other stitching you're going to do is going to hold it in place. So there is a place for every kind of thread. And who knew? I mean, before I started working here, I just was buying, I had Grandma's thread from when she had a treadle machine, and that's what I sewed with because that's what I had. So choose the right thread for the right project, okay? That's the first part. That's thread. And then needle. All right, let's move these out of the way. Oh, I didn't talk about these. Whoops, back up. Slow down. Slow down. I get too excited and I talk too fast. People are like, slow down. He's right. So these are collections. And this is Da Bomb. So this is a collection of Aurifil thread. And this is your basics. I love this particular green right here. Use it all the ding dong dang time. It is the best, better than a gray for being a neutral for piecing. But this is a nice collection. These are great for a birthday gift or an anniversary gift. When you get your birthday discount, come in and buy these because they're not. It's not inexpensive to buy this whole set. Yeah, it's not inexpensive to buy this whole set. But I'm going to tell you what: if you bought this set, you wouldn't have to buy any thread because you don't always have to match your thread. Especially if you're not doing top stitching. If you're just sewing two things together, you just want something that'll blend into that seam. And this would afford that opportunity. But if you are doing top stitching, this is the bomb. Look at these.
Oh, those are fun.
Oh my gosh. I just want to eat them up. I can't stand how cute they are. These variegated threads are wonderful for top stitching. They're also nice for piecing. So when I have that quilt that has like 40 gazillion different colors in it and I can't figure out which beige to use, I will use this because then it just kind of blends in with every color that's in the quilt. So they're not bad for piecing too, but they really do some fun top stitching. And the way that they're colorized, if you get it stitched right, you can get a repetitive stitch. Those decorative stitches on your machine that do the little flowers and all the little cutesy things, these are really fun in these variegated colors. a lot of fun to play with them. They're great on embroidery machines if you've got to do some kind of like, if you have to do a flower, to do the flower in like this color or this color because it's variegated, gives it so much depth and texture. And you can use these. 50 weight on an embroidery machine is perfectly fine. It works just great. And then, of course, we couldn't talk about something if we didn't talk about Tula, because, you know, Tula's my vibe. Here's colors to match her color line exactly. So this was, it's called Unicorn Poop, and typically these are the pastel colors that she works with in her colorway. And that's the other thing. The Aurifil company works with a lot of the fabric designers to create color palettes to go with their lines. So if there's a particular designer you work with all the time, it's kind of nice to buy these collections so then you have all the things that you know are going to match their ongoing fabric. So have we exhausted thread? Who knew? So much to talk about thread. And there's even more. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So then let's talk about sewing machine needles. So here's the question. How often should you change your sewing machine needle when you're sewing? Da, 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 da.
Well, let me think. I only got 5 when I bought my machine, so I want them to last during the 25-year warranty. So I'm probably doing it once every 5 years, Cappy. You see my logic?
I see your logic there, and actually, I get it. That kind of makes sense. That's really funny.
At least that's what I did for my first sewing machine that's a Janome. That I still have.
That you still have, and it survived that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's how I always explain using a needle. When you're using a sewing machine needle, think of if you started high school with the number 2 pencil, and it was sharp, man. It was that nice, clean, sharp, you know, so sharp that it almost has like a little shoulder at the bottom of the lead because it's just that sharp. It's so perfect. And it hasn't got the bite marks in it yet. I mean, it's a nice, clean pencil. It's that perfect number 2 pencil that you love to start school with. And then you're a senior in high school. And you still have that very same number 2 pencil. And it's got teeth marks on it. And it's dull because you've written every single paper, taken every single test, all the multiplication tables, all the algebra and the calculus and, you know, all the things that you had to do in school. You used that same pencil for 4 years. And that thing is a nub, man. There is nothing to it. That's what happens if you use the same sewing machine needle again and again and again, because you don't just change them when they break. And this is like an aha moment for so many stitchers. And so I laugh about it a little bit now because it's one of those things, like you just said, it's like, well, I got 5, so they got to last 25 years. I mean, we do. You don't think about it. It's like we're so frugal by nature because we're quilters. And it's like, well, I'm not going to change that needle. Okay, so a package of needles is $5.
What? Wait, what?
$1 a needle.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you.
Why am I just now finding out about this?
$5. This one's $6 because these are Janome needles. But okay, but these are probably $6 too. Yeah, some are 5, some are 6. Honestly, the $5 ones are probably the old pricing point. But anyway, a package of needle, generally it's about $1 a needle. So to get a machine service ain't cheap if you have a machine service. And if you're using a dull needle that's pushing through your fabric, just barely pushing through your fabric, then your needle is not a happy needle. And your machine is not a happy machine, and it's working hard. So replace your needles. Replace your needles. Every project deserves a new needle. And there's a difference between needles. So the Schmetz company makes lovely needles, has done it for years, and their needles are designed to fit the European designed machines. So there are brands of machines that you purchase that will be happy with the Schmetz needles. And there's a difference in the size of the needles. I have a great big needle I should have brought over here that you can see. The location of the eye of the needle is a little different. Yeah, okay, I'm going to go get it. So I've brought to show you my, this is like dangerous. This is actually a model of a Schmetz needle, and it shows you all the anatomy of a needle. You never really see a needle up close, and you don't realize all the parts to it. But every needle is designed a little different.
Oh, I see it's a 116.
There you go. Exactly. And that's the way this particular, a 16 would be made. So you've got the eye of the needle up here, the eye of the needle is right there. And then this particular one has a little scarf area right here. And that's where the hook race comes around and catches the thread. And then you have this valley, and most all needles have this valley, and I don't know if it shows on film or not, but there's a valley.
It does.
And if I was threading a groove, there you go. If I was threading the needle, it would be like this. And if I put the thread in that groove, it just naturally goes right through the eye. And that's, all needles have that groove in it. So it makes it easier to thread. So when we're talking about the size of the thread, this is why you want to get the right size thread, because depending on the needle size, this groove right here is different sizes. So if I've got a piece of thread that's very tiny in a big groove, it's going to wiggle around and make nasty stitches. If I've got the right width of thread in that groove, then it makes a nice straight stitch because it's supported all the way down. So when you use a needle, be sure you buy the needle that goes with your machine, because the eye location here is a little higher or a little lower depending on the way your machine is designed. This thing is dull. Look you see how dull that is? It needs to be. But the eye location is a little different. So sometimes people will put a Schmetz needle in a Janome machine and they'll say, well, my needle threader won't work. Well, the needle threader won't work because the eye of the needle is in the wrong spot for the needle threader. And that's why you have that complication. So that's the story on the needle thing. So buy the needle that goes with your machine, and then buy the right size needle for your project, because this area here is determined, size is determined by the size of the needle. So in a size 9 needle, this area in here is going to be much smaller, and it's going to need a smaller piece of thread. Where in a size 16, this is a much larger area and it needs a bigger thread. So I'm going to use a 40 weight thread. And that's why the needle matters. So you've got size 9, size 11, 14, 16. You have a denim needle that is made a little more durable than what a standard 11 needle is, because it's a size 16. Janome has, and other companies have the same thing, needles that are kind of color coded. So you may have a red tipped needle, you may have a blue tipped needle, you'll have a purple tipped needle. You need to know what those different needles are used for. They're not always interchangeable. And you're going to want to use the right size needle for the fabric. So I'm not going to use a size 9 needle, which is very small, on denim. Conversely, I'm not going to use a size 16 needle on lawn weight fabric. And I'm going to match the thread to that too. So that's my thread and that's my needle. They have to match TNT. That's why these things always come together. Because once I get my thread the right weight for the right size needle, then I can adjust my tension appropriately. But without those things working together, they're the triad of the sewing machine. If you don't get those 3 things connected the right way, you will never get a happy stitch. Your stitches are going to be blah, and they're not going to hold together. So that's kind of our little education moment for today. We're going to try and include something in every one of our YouTube videos with the What's New series to teach you something. So it's more than just trying to go, okay, here's stuff that you're interested in potentially purchasing. I want you to get some education out of it too, because that's what we're here for. Our star is really feels strongly about making sure people learn a thing or two when you come in, because we like to educate. And now, though, we do like to see new stuff.
The rest of the show. Page
2 is, and if you really wanting to learn more about this TNT class, there are still some openings. It does sell out. It's on February 11th, which is a Saturday afternoon, 1 to 4. Those people who watch this while you're at work and you work during the week, you can sign up for that. And I would encourage you. It's very helpful to know how to properly thread and select the right needle and set the tension on your machine. It will completely change how you sew. Really will. So let's go look at some fabric. We're going to leave the little studio here, go out in the wild, as some people say, on the sales floor.
We're going to get accosted by the staff.
We'll get accosted by the staff. And then there'll be customers go, I don't want to be in the video. And they walk all the way around the store to avoid it. But we want you to.
Well, actually, we have employees that do it. Okay, funny story. We have employees that do everything they can to avoid being in the video. So on the What's New last week, the cover shot I chose, one of the employees is actually
In the
video
background.
bombing in the background.
I
I
know.
told her about it. It was so funny.
Yeah, she's like,
She's like, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, they don't. We're just hanging out here. This is the videos. Believe me, we are not professionals. We're just having fun. This is like home movies, you know. We're just sitting around chatting, visiting, and we're glad you're part of it. So if
Yeah, the more professional they become, the less fun they'll be.
the less fun. They'll be. And yeah, we're not into that. We're into having a good time. So let's go look at fabric because I love to look at fabric. So see you in a minute. And now we're in the fabric. That, you know, it's okay to be back in the studio, but let's just be honest. We all want to be out here playing in the fabric, right? We want to touch it and pet it. We don't charge you to do that either. If you just have like a bad day and you need to come in and feel better, come see us. We'll give you a hug. We'll let you sit and touch the fabric if you want, because that just makes for a better day all the way around.
We have a coffee station. You
Yeah.
can make yourself a coffee. We have the world's most comfortable chairs back in the yarn department.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people take naps back there. Even staff will be like, "I'm going to take my break," and they go sit down out there and relax. So, yes, come see us. If you don't spend money, we're okay with that. We still like you. We want you to come visit us. But I wanted to start with this fabric. Maggie, there's a Maggie joke that you've seen that's adorable about the dachshund. So you got to be sure you see our Maggie jokes. Maggie is going to be leaving for college, and I'm just telling you, our whole staff is really sad. But we've got a few more months, but we're already kind of going to miss her because we're going to have other people send us jokes. I mean, that's the only thing I know to do is have other people send us jokes. But she had her dachshund joke about this line. It's called Yippee Yi Yo Ki Yay. Here we go, Windham Fabrics. I don't know if you can get in on that. Stinking cute line. Yippee Yo Yi Ki Yay. I still say Yippee Yi Yo Ki Yay. Anyway, you get the idea. It's just fun. This pattern is adorable. It's an applique piece. It's only 30 by 30 or so, 33 by 38. And so these pieces are, pretty basic. And then the boots, you can make as ornate as you want. And she has the outline and everything to make it. I just think these are adorable. I've got to get this pattern because I'm going to make it. And, I'll have to probably put a flamingo in there somehow.
Oh, you totally could.
I totally could.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be fabulous. But this is wall art. This is not a quilt you're going to put on a bed. This is art, and I love it. So this is a fabulous line. It would make lots of things really fun. Just look how colorful and bright that is. Isn't that fun? It reminds me of. Okay, I'm going to tell you how old I am by telling you this. In the 60s, they would have cartoons like the Yellow Submarine. There was a cartoon called the Yellow Submarine, and it was a Beatles thing. And they would have cartoons that kind of look like this. And that's what it reminds me of, is those kind of abstract, groovy cartoon things. Love this fabric. It's got corn in it. Look at that's corn. I think that's corn right there. I really do. Is that an ear of corn?
It is.
I think it is. I think it is an ear of corn. Okay, so it's got cowboy boots. So if you've got that cowgirl person, look at these look at the cowboy and the cowgirl. Look how cute they are. Here they're looking at each other and they got their chaps on. Yippee yo ki yay. Isn't that fun? Horseshoes.
I didn't see the animals.
There's animals. There's home on the range. Look at the cows. This is just a fun line. I can see it going, little boy. You got a little boy who likes cowboys. Beep, beep, beep. They're coming through behind us. We got barbed wire. There's barbed wire in it. Look at the barbed wire. That is the thing that changed the world. You know that.
Yeah, it really did.
It really did. It was allowed them to.
It was open range, became closed range.
That's right. And barbed wire was the difference. And there was like a gazillion patents on all different kinds of barbed wire. There's a whole history to barbed wire. If you don't know, look it up. But it comes in different colors. Here's some cowboys. Look at this, Peter.
I want to see.
It's horses.
I want to see.
It's horses.
Show me the horses.
Look at them. Those are cowboys. Those aren't just horses. Those are horses with a cowboy because he's got the lasso. He's chasing him down or something. Oh, and look, here's the cows. Here's the. Or these could be bison. I don't know. I think that's a cow. I think it's got little horns on it.
That one's a cow.
That one's a cow. But that one kind of looks more like a bison or a. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it's the range. So I'm loving this fabric. I think it's really fun. It's a really creative difference from what we've had before. I've not ever had one like this in, I think, ever. It's just fun. Fun, fun, fun. Yippee yi yo ki yay. And
Look at
it's
the
from
horns.
Windham. Look at the horns. Oh yeah, it's the skulls with the. That's fun.
neat.
With the flowers on it.
Yeah, I like that.
Very, very.
You know,
good.
that'd make good curtains.
It would make good curtains. You know, you had a Western themed room. In one of my houses one time, I had a room that had cats with lassos and cowboy boots. That's a few years ago. All right. Then this line that also just came in is really, we're going to go another direction now. This is from the Dear Stella Company. And this is Storybook Farm Blossoms and apples and kitties. And this one is that soft, gentle.
Oh, I like the apple print.
I like
They're
it. All of
they're
it.
in the apple orchard.
Yes.
Oh, that cat pattern's really cool
Isn't
with the
cat fun?
ladybugs.
Let's open that one up. These are directional, so when you're purchasing your fabric, you need to plan accordingly, okay? Is it right side up? Yes.
Uh-huh.
So when you're buying fabric, realize it is directional, which means sometimes you have to buy a little extra to be sure you get what you want. Gosh, I hadn't seen this up close. This is going to have to go home with me.
That's adorable.
That is adorable.
That's your cat.
It is. It's copper and smoky.
Like playing with the butterflies and ladybugs.
Well, Copper would. Smokey would just look at him like, you're annoying me. But cats are so fun.
Oh, there's horses.
There's horses.
You know
Peter.
what? Okay, so my bone to pick with everybody who's always made this farm fabric is they've always had the chickens, they have always had the ducks, they've always had the cows,
The sheep.
they've always had the sheep, but they always leave out the horse.
This one didn't. And look at
See,
the
and that's
pretty
why I like Dear
pasture.
Stella.
Dear Stella's good. I love the pasture. I love the little flowers.
And that's a happy little herd.
It is a happy little. I think I'm going to say those are the wild horses in Montana. You know, they have those wild horses that just roam the range still. Those are happy horses because they just get to do
Love
whatever
it.
they want, whenever they want. So yeah, there's also.
Oh, I gotta come around and get the blenders.
He's got to come around and get the blenders on the bottom. Oh, there's ducks. Look at the ducks. I didn't see the ducks.
Oh, that's cute.
Isn't that cute? Wouldn't this be cute for an Easter dress for a
That's
little
so
girl?
nice and pastel. Yeah, it
is.
would. Oh, look at the little baby ducks in there.
Baby ducks, mama ducks. That would be a cute Easter dress. And then it has all this, like there's a gingham and there's some really cute dots. If I had a little girl still wearing fluffy foo-foo dresses, we'd be making a dress for sure.
Speaking of fluffy foo-foo dresses, Pam, who works here, she's making a dress with this fabric right here.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, for Easter. Let me come up to it.
This one?
Yep, this one right
That'd
here.
be really pretty. Yeah, it would do great for that. Would be lovely for that. Okay, so that's a couple lines that you hadn't seen yet that we wanted to be sure you got to play with and look at. We literally
Oh, the
get
barn.
fabric
Okay,
every
the
day.
barn seam. Before
right.
we go, there's several barns.
Oh, they are different.
There's the cow barn,
Oh, now how do you know that's a cow barn?
because there's cows.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the shape
There's
of the barn.
there's the sheep barn.
I was like,
Ask me how I know those are sheep, Cappy.
I thought maybe it was because of the shape of the barn or the door or something. I'm a city girl.
Okay.
No, I don't know
apparently,
nothing about this.
apparently, the horses. You're right. They are free roam. They don't have a barn.
They don't
They're
have
homeless.
a barn. They're homeless horses. Well, okay, so that's probably a sheep barn because they're sheep. I get
Yeah,
it.
sheep
I
barn.
thought maybe barns were different. I thought different. Like a pig barn would be fat. You know, I don't know. I thought barns
The
were
swine barn.
The swine. I thought. Oh well. I was raised in the city. Not much of a city. It's rural, but it was still a city. Okay, we're gonna go this way.
Let's go. Where are we
Let's go.
going?
We're going up front. And there's the staff. They'll run and hide because he's doing a video. See? Don't you guys
Wait,
know?
this is the friendly
This is the
staff.
brain trust. Look at them. They're all running away.
Now we make ourselves busy.
They make it. They run.
Wait a minute, where'd they all go?
running away.
They were all
Daddy's
standing at the
hiding.
water cooler.
Yeah. Oh, brother. I tell you, it's a rough crowd in here. Okay.
They scattered so fast.
They did. That was
I did.
like
And did
cockroaches
you
on the
notice they all
floor in
went
New
in
York.
separate directions?
They just went phew. I hadn't seen him move that fast in a long time. No, that's kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Nothing in the back.
Okay, this one is so fun. This is Jaybird by Whistler Studios, which is part of Windham.
Ooh.
Love this fabric. It is just, those hydrangeas, you never go wrong with hydrangeas. And the colors, and here's this, look at this owl.
Oh, I didn't see there was an owl.
There's an owl. It says direction is more important than speed.
So
Boy, is that the truth.
Would you say this is a directional?
Yes, this is definitely a directional print. And they all are.
Oh, wait, there's more little woodland friends.
Yes.
And that bird says something too. Hold on.
True
All the
to
birds
you.
have sayings.
True to you, dream big. Get something brave.
Strong and brave.
Strong and brave. Well, that's a blue jay. They are. They're kind of. They can be rough
they have
little birds.
Strong beaks.
They have strong. They're strong. They're strong-willed. Dream big. I think that's supposed to be like a little wrench. That almost looks like a kingfisher, the ones that hang over a pond and dive in and get fish to eat. Okay. So these are really, really fun. Look at the little bird tracks. So we have birds, but look at their little feet tracks.
Oh, okay, I'll be honest with you. When I walked by this line, number one, I didn't know there were birds. And number two, I didn't catch on that those were bird tracks.
Well,
So that's fun.
that is fun. And what great binding. Would that be
Oh,
a
that
great
would
binding?
be.
Perfect. Let's put those together. Put those kind of. Oh, look at this. This looks like bird thoughts. If birds thought, this is what they would think.
The little thought clouds.
They're little thought clouds. That's a great black and white. Can't go wrong with that. Little feather. That's what they. This is what birds dream about right here. I feel sure that's what they dream about. And we've got that in a gray. You're gonna have to scan this whole
Okay, let me
round
scan.
because it's beautiful. Really, really pretty. Really, really pretty. Oh, look at the words with the birds. Look at this. Love that. This is a nice line. There's a lot of variety and a lot of color depth.
You are loved.
You are loved. I like that. Smile, listen, belong. Gentle, hope, imagination, unique. This would be great for a nursery.
Oh, it
This
would.
be beautiful for a baby nursery. Look at this teal. Okay, this is speaking to me because you know it's my color.
This purple's speaking to me right there.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I love that purple.
Yeah, periwinkle maybe. Things are falling.
Oh, that's a fun polka dot.
Isn't that a fun polka dot? I love the imprint of the flower on top of it. But I love, these are all my colors. That's got my name on it. So this is a fun line. We've got jelly rolls.
Jelly rolls.
Those are nice.
Yes.
We've got 10-inch squares. Quick, easy quilt, 10-inch squares. And then we've got charms too. 5-inch charms. So you got a little bit of everybody in there. So you're all in, man. I'd buy a charm, I'd buy a layer, I'd buy a jelly roll, and then I'd buy a feature fabric for the border, and you're ready to go. Very fun. Very, very fun.
I'm gonna scan the dots.
You stay in the dots.
Oh, absolutely.
How are you today? Headed to class, huh?
Yeah.
Ooh, those coordinate well.
They do.
The bird dreams with the
Yeah, bird
dots.
dreams. And here's the gray one. I love it.
This would be a fun 3-yard quilt for sure. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
said, get a yard of this and a yard of that.
Yeah, this would make a great 3-yard quilt. It'd be quick and easy. We had somebody on our Always in Stitches page post a 3-yard quilt that they made. And they loved it. They said it was super easy.
I
So
went in and gave her a refund
we do like the 3-yard
and
quilts.
totally forgot to take it. I had her sign.
Okay.
I'm gonna pan over to this one.
This one, yep, here we go. So this is the next one we're going to talk about. This one is from Benartex, and it is called Daisy Up, Daisy Up, Daisy Up, Daisy Up. And boy, does this just scream spring. I love it. Nice bright colors. This would be great for Easter too. You know, it'd be fun to make like just Easter eggs, make great big Easter eggs out of all these different ones. I wonder if anybody's got a pattern to make an Easter egg.
There's gotta be.
There's gotta be. But wouldn't that be fun just to have real big cloth Easter eggs to play with?
That would be.
They'd be really pretty. We've also got the charms.
I know in wool we have Easter egg patterns where you can make
they're
eggs
flat.
out of. No, they're
Are they
dimensional.
dimensional?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking dimensional.
No, it's dimensional.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Wouldn't this be cute with to have have cloth like just little
Yeah.
Easter eggs, and you wouldn't have to dye them, and you wouldn't have all that awful mess.
Yeah.
But look at this.
Yeah, I just forgot. Thank you for saying.
Again, directional fabric. So think in terms of if I'm buying it, I've got to be in the right direction.
Ooh, that's pretty. Okay,
I'm
hold
upside
it.
down.
Stand next to those oranges right there, those
Got it.
colors. Because then it'll show how they all blend real well.
Yeah.
Because they all blend really well.
They do. This color palette's really pretty.
Man, that's awesome.
Isn't that beautiful? Love it.
Oh, that's fun. Oh, those
Look at
butterflies.
the butterflies, how pretty they are. Those would be fun to fussy cut and put in a block.
Yeah,
Just
it
look,
would.
look at what
Oh,
you got
that-
here.
that by itself would be a block.
There's a block, and I don't have to
It's a
piece it or anything.
four-patch.
It is a 4-patch, and I don't have to piece it. Yay! And I don't have to applique it. I don't have to do all the little bitty ooky
You could
parts.
hand embroider the antennas
yeah.
if you wanted, just for fun.
Embellish.
Yeah,
Embellish.
embellish.
That would be fun. So I'm loving this line. That one's you're gonna have to go all the way around, Peter. It's
This is a great 3-yard quilt too.
It would be a great figure. And look at this. These would be great borders. Look at these fun. There's some pieces up here that would just translate to borders really, really well. Oh, look, it comes in just aquas too. So if you don't like the multiple
Oh, is this the border stripe you're talking about?
Yeah. Look at that. That would be a good border. That would be a good border. Chop that up and make a border. Or, you know what these make too, they make nice stack and wet quilts. You
Oh.
cut them in triangles and then put them back together and you
There
get
you
some
go.
really fun stuff. Some fun things there. Oh, look at these pastels in it.
Oh, I'm liking this green and blue.
I did too. That got my eye. Look at this with the periwinkle in it. That's really pretty. That little set here. And then look, it goes into the pastels. I love these. This is actually,
Oh, this cloth feels so good.
it is a great hand to it. This is called Color Up.
I love how light it is. Are these meant to be this light for background?
Yes. And these are not really part of the daisy line, but when we purchased the fabric, my intent was to display them together because I think they really play nice together. But I'm telling you what, this would be great just to have in your collection at home, just to have those soft pastels. It's hard to find sometimes the tiny pastels.
You can't find this shade of blue.
Yeah.
That shade right there.
And you need those to complement, your big patterns sometimes.
Well, I like the little flowers.
I do too. Those are really cute. I'm going to try and figure out how to make Easter eggs. That's going to be my project, I think.
Okay, we have a pattern. I'll show you later.
All right, we'll have to look at that.
Yep.
We'll have to look at that. And then I think, did we do this? Let's do this batik line because we haven't shown a batik line on What's New for a while.
Okay.
Let's do that. And then I think we're going to be like, they're going to fall asleep on us if we keep talking. But you're going to have to come in the store. All I can tell you is come in the store. There's more to see.
I'm going to scan this one quickly because I know that's new, but
Yes.
I'm just going to scan it.
And we got a Maggie joke over here too.
I'm going to scan this.
This one's a new batik line too.
I think this is one of the ones I put a picture up in the insiders.
Yes, and this is Island Batik. And talk about color variation here.
Yeah.
This is fun. I love, look at the
Oh, I forgot.
purples.
I know why I wanted to do this is because I wanted to show those right there, those layer cakes.
Ooh, yeah.
Because there's two colorways, and I didn't make this obvious in the insiders with the photo.
You have your brights and you have your earth tones, kind of your muted jewel tones more. But these are very bright.
And then I got them down there too. I'm going to show
Oh
them
yeah,
down
you
there.
got charms and charms. Those are the 10-inch squares. These are the 2.5-inch strips. And I'll tell you, if you can't figure out which parts of the fabric to buy a charm, buy a layer, buy a jelly roll, and then buy 3 yards of the piece of fabric that speaks to you the most out of the line. If you have those components, you're definitely going to be able to make a quilt. And if you can't make it today and you want to be sure you get the fabric, that's the way to go. Layer, jellies, and charms, and 3 yards of the favorite fabric. That's kind of the best formula if you don't know what to buy, but you know you want the fabric. Because it'll make about any project. Now this one, I like this. Now this is, I've never seen in a batik chickens. Who are the chickens?
Oh, those are fun.
Isn't that fun? And it's red, white, and blue, so I love the patriotic part of that. And then here's our joke. What is a chicken's favorite dessert? Coop cakes. Oh, Maggie, you kill me. Look at the checkerboard in a batik. That's just so unusual. This is just a fun batik.
Those blues and whites are beautiful.
Aren't they pretty? Look at the charm, or the strips. Those are fun too. Can you tell there's a class getting ready to start, all the noise in the background? This is the fun part about working here. There's always chatter going on.
There's a lot going on at the cutting table today.
Lots of people getting fabric, making plans. So there you go. I think that's about all we can show you today. And not
I'm showing the staff.
showing the staff. Oh, they'll be so annoyed because they get embarrassed. But we appreciate you shopping with us. If you didn't see it in the What's New video, you can go to our website and shop there. There's always new stuff being posted on our website. And if you haven't signed up for a class, come on in, take a class with us. We'd love to have you in the store. It's good to be back in schedule. I think I need to be back into working instead of a holiday. The holiday was rough on me. So thanks a bunch. I hope you're having a great stitchy day. I hope it's sunny and warm where you are. And if it's not, go find some bright fabric to play with and makes you feel sunny and warm. So thanks a lot. Happy stitching.